So for me, one of the best parts about the work that Tomfoolery is doing in schools is that we get to listen to you guys, and two of our young filmmakers have created some material that helps you to create films on your phones using an app called CapCut. And our intention with that is that we really genuinely want to listen and learn from you, and that's I hope you can see it's genuinely sincere. And the reason for that is you guys are probably one of the most compassionate generations. You've grown up outside of apartheid. You don't see color the way older generations do, which is such a beautiful thing. And we need to be taught by you, and we need you engaged in these conversations that affect us all when it comes to inequality. But I just want to briefly just pause and go, like, maybe you're sitting there today and you might be open to the idea of feeling inequality, but you can't get the urgency. If your excitement about this course, if it's on a scale of 1 to 10, you're probably sitting on a 1 or 2. This feels like a waste of time. It's an uncomfortable subject. You're annoyed by me, a privileged white man, possibly sharing, which is presumptuous. I get that. I don't want to talk to that. I want to talk into it with the intention of trying to win you over. I want to be transparent about that, because I think obviously it's just, but I think it's in your self-interest, and I'm going to do my best in the next 2 or 3 minutes just to motivate for that, and why this conversation and feeling and taking control is important to you. And so I want to, when we're talking about these conversations, we can also often feel like it's us and them, and they can feel heated and antagonistic, and it feels like we're fighting. And what I love is to take the problem and put it objectively away from us, so that we can all focus on it instead of it being pointed inwards towards us, we can focus our attention on solving the problem. And I often find that objective data without emotions to it, helps us do that. And so I wrote a follow-up book called What Did Robin Hood Do?, which you might engage with in future years after this course, on what is privilege's response to inequality. And I listen to those big numbers that help me create an urgency towards living a life that focuses on feeling inequality and doing what's in my power to shift that. So how crazy is this? Some big numbers. I wrote this in 2022, but there were 22 of the richest men in the world had more money than all the women in Africa. In South Africa, the richest person makes 1,338 times more than the poorest person. The global norm is about 20 or 30, and that's a staggering number. I'm using some old data, but just to help us, it's the data that was available at the time. In 2015, if we looked at the median household income, so that's the average household income, white male-headed homes made $35,000. The average income for a black female-headed home was just $2,500. And colored Asian homes earn slightly more, $5,700. So the average black employee woman is roughly $6,000, black man $7,500, white woman $20,000, white man $28,000. This data is old, but it's the data being discussed in the scientific literature. In 2011, 0.9% of the population, so that's white men, lived in poverty, on basically less than 799 rand a month, and 25 million blacks, 37% of the coloreds, and 6.9% of Asian people lived below the poverty line. And so when we look at those numbers, it's fairly obvious to see that South Africa is this grossly unequal society. We earned the title a few years ago with the Time magazine article of the most unequal society in the world. And the reality is, based on the spirit level, that affects your life. It affects your life today and how you feel inside, your emotions. It affects your life in a year's time, when it comes to crime, corruption, how you live, where you live, safety. And if you choose to stay in South Africa, it's going to affect your life long term. And so my view as a privileged white male South African, firstly is I have an obligation towards justice given my privilege. And secondly, it's in my interest to be feeling inequality and engaging in connection conversations that are constructive. And I hope by the end of this course you'll agree.